Right, what's going on, guys? So this is my video on the Arsenal Brighton game. It's 3 days overdue, but listen, I wish I didn't have to do this video, but if I'm going to be doing YouTube videos on a regular basis, then I have to be consistent with it. Now, first of all, one thing you guys are going to learn about me is that when Arsenal lose a game or if Arsenal draw a game, I don't take it very well. Ruins my mood for the rest of the week, let alone the day after. You know, it ruins everything for me, and I just feel sick. I feel ill, but I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to make it not affect me too much. But yeah, it just annoyed me so much. But I suppose let's just get into it. So first and foremost, the first half I thought we were really comfortable. I don't think we were great, but I think we were in control. Deservedly took the lead with Kai Havertz. Great finish. And then you just think to yourself, well, Brighton might push us a little bit, but there was only one way the game was going, and that was an Arsenal win for me. And then the Rice incident happens. Now, first of all, I want to just say that Declan Rice was stupid, really stupid to do that. And we were caught doing that last year as well with Crystal Palace away with Tomiyasu for time wasting. Don't give the ref a decision to make. Don't. It was stupid. And effectively, that incident has cost us the game because João Pedro scored 10 minutes after we went down to 10 men. And yeah, the rest is history. But the Rice thing, Rice shouldn't have done that. And he has to learn from that going forward because, in truth, apart from the last 30 minutes in the Villa game, Rice hasn't actually started the season that well. He's been a little bit off it. And he was a little bit off it in the Euros, just a tiny bit. So he needs to use this break now. He's going to miss the Spurs game. He needs to use this game now just to get out of his system. He's then got to come back to the City game, which, you know, is going to be very difficult. But I mean, yeah, he's going for a little bit of a little dry spell. But there we are. It was stupid. He gave the ref a decision to make, and we went down to 10 men. Now, the next point I'm going to make is the lack of consistency from the referees on the other hand. So, all right, Rice has been stupid, but how many other times does that happen and the referee does nothing? Absolutely nothing. Why does it always seem to be Arsenal? It might not be. Maybe that's my bias head talking, but it just seems to me that that is the referee looked like he was dying to give that decision, and it just shows that referees are going to do that to us. Don't give the referee a decision to make. And I have to be fair as well. I think referees are quite unfair to Man City as well. So it's not like an Arsenal. I'm not trying to say this to come across like I've got an Arsenal agenda. I think there's an agenda against City as well. And these refs are they've got it in for both teams. And there's other teams. Wolves have been guilty of it as well. But there's a lot of teams who are suffering this. It's not just Arsenal. I probably named a bad example. City obviously is a good example, but there's other teams. But it's just the lack of consistency from these referees. And that lack of consistency has cost us the game. No one would have complained. If the ref didn't do anything about that, no one would have said anything. But the ref decided just to make it a game. And that's, for me, that is just, it's sad to see. It's sad to see because I think even though Rice was stupid, I just think the ref clearly wanted to give it. And yeah, I just wish these refs were a bit more consistent. Because that decision cost us the game and it's cost us the win. But on the flip side, we drew the game. Even though we had a few chances, I do think we got away with one. The fact we come away from that with 1 point, I have to try and see the positive from it. I have to, because, you know, if you look at the games last season, which we lost, if we had just drawn some of them, we would be title winners. Like, look at the Villa game. We lost to Villa twice last season. Twice. And if we'd just drawn both of them, we'd be the champions. Fulham, we lost. West Ham, we lost. Newcastle, we lost. I'm glad that we managed to at least get a point, because that point could be crucial come the end of the season. It could be. So that was good. Going into the Spurs game, we're not going to have Declan Rice. We're not going to have Marino. So it's going to look probably like he'll either go with Havertz, Ødegaard and Partey as a midfield three, or he'll go keep Havertz up top and then have maybe Timber next to Partey or Jorginho next to Partey. Either way, it's a big decision Arteta needs to make, and I'm not quite sure which one he should go for. Because I'll tell you something, I'd probably go with Partey and Jorginho. I'll tell you why. Partey has been so shaky. He's done amazing bits, but he's done some terrible bits. When he receives the ball in the 6 position, right in front of the defenders, he's getting caught in possession so many times, and I don't know what's happened to him. He wasn't doing this 2 years ago. He wasn't. He always looks like he's going to give the ball away, and he does give the ball away. And it's I don't know. And maybe that's where the goal came from. I look at the goal again. That ball just carved us through, and it shouldn't have. Gabriel shouldn't have been exposed. He shouldn't have been, and it was just, yeah, they cut through us and they got the equaliser. And yeah, there's quite a few problems. I thought Timber was pretty poor as well. I think Timber, again, I think these are the wrong games for Timber. I think we should be using Timber against lesser teams, because if Zinchenko put in the performance that Timber did, we'll be slating Zinchenko. I think Timber is best for when you're playing teams like Leicester and Southampton at home, which we've got soon. Play Timber, just get his confidence back. And games where we're away at Tottenham or we're at home to a team like Brighton who are banging form, you play Calafiori or you play Tomiyasu. You play players who are better defensively. And that's what I'd like to see against Spurs. Calafiori has to start against Spurs. He has to. And then, you never know, you could put Timber next to Partey, because at least he's got Calafiori. They've both got Calafiori behind, so maybe we're not as exposed. But that's something I'd be open to. I don't care if it's Timber or Jorginho partnering Partey. As long as we've got Calafiori behind, I think we'll be all right in that game. But it's a massive shame, because we want to win the league, and I think we're going to win the league. And again, this is going to be completely this is going to be laughable at the end of the season if we don't. I just feel we've got a good enough team to do it, and we can't let this draw knock our confidence now, because the fact of the matter is, if that stays 11v11, I'm 90% sure we win that game. I'm 90% sure, but it was just, yeah, there was a few problems. I think the main 2 problems were Timber and Partey, but the others I thought were okay, and it was just the sending off. We're going to miss Declan Rice at Spurs away, but it's a big opportunity for us to turn it around and kickstart our season. But what worries me is, and I'm going to say this, it's going to sound very dramatic. To end this video, I'm going to say I think that Spurs game is a must-win. I actually think it's a must-win. I'll tell you why. I know it's only 3 games in so far, and that'll be 4 games in. I'll tell you why it's a must-win. Because if we don't beat Spurs, let's just say we draw, and City then win, City go 4 points ahead of us. Then we face them at the Etihad. If they beat us, they're 7 points clear. And to be honest with you, even with 5 games in, I think if we go 7 points behind Man City, just 5 games in, I think, knowing how good City are, I think that might be the title done. Seriously, because City, at the best of times, don't lose games. They don't drop points much, but then we'd be 7 points behind, so they'd have to drop points, and we'd have to make sure we don't drop points. And I just feel it's a must-win against Spurs. If we do beat Spurs, that means it's still 2 points behind City. And then if we do lose, all right, it's 5 points. It's not the end of the world. But I think we could peg that back, because we're getting a lot of our difficult games out of the way early on. And we have got Villa out of the way away. Aston Villa away is a horrendously tough game. And we didn't just lose that, draw that, we won that. So we've gone away from there with 3 points. So I guess if we're drawing to Brighton, we could have easily have lost to Villa. So we have to view it as a win. 7 points out of those 3 games isn't the worst thing, considering we had Villa away to deal with. And we've won that. So we don't have to go to Villa Park at all from now to the end of the season. But we can't drop points to Spurs. We've got to beat Spurs. And then against Man City, try and get a point. And if we do get a point, then we're 2 points behind. And yeah, we just need to be in distance. I just think 7 points is too big a gap, even at this stage. So that's my feelings on it. I hate it. I feel sick. It's going to drag on these next 12 days. Absolutely drag on until we play Spurs. It's horrible because we're so desperate for the Premier League title. And it does feel like a mini crisis if we don't beat Spurs. So we'll see. We'll see. We all want the Premier League title, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult, and we have to be on our game against Spurs with no Declan Rice as well. But yeah, let me know what you think. Am I overreacting a little bit, or do you think it's a little bit just? Let me know. See you later.